He's been around so long, he's almost part of the family. Many of us have grown up with him, always there, the perennial king of pop, but not for much longer. John Farnham's about to call it a day, and he's saying goodbye in true Farnham style. A massive farewell tour through Australia's heartland, a tour called The Last Time. And what a swan song it is. As you'll see, there are no Lear jets and limos, it's all big rigs and big tops. The king of pops, now king of the road. From Kalgoorlie to Cairns, John Farnham is packing them in to say good night and goodbye. This time for the last time.
This has really brought it home to me. Okay, this is the last time I'm going to tour. You know, I'm not going to see a lot of these people ever again. You know, and so I'm soaking this right in. This is a real emotional experience for me. I'm having a great time. I really am.
Do you really mean you're not going to see them again? You are not going to tour again?
Well, I've said I won't, and I would like to keep my word.
No one has ever attempted a tour on this scale before. 61 concerts in 27 towns, 6 months on the road. 2 massive 4,000-seat tents leapfrogging each other across Australia. A crew of 100 on a $10 million musical juggernaut. It's an exhausting grind. They have just 2 days to set up to transform an empty tent into a state-of-the-art concert hall.
So this is my tent, Peter.
This is a tent.
This is a tent. This is a serious camping trip, isn't it?
And you've got 2 of these running up and down the coast?
2 big tops, and they piggyback. I actually wanted to call them 2 tents, but he wouldn't let me.
Glenn Wheatley is Farnham's manager and best mate.
I'm in the background, but I get as much of a thrill as John does in looking at what we created. And we can both say, we did this. I mean, it's an awesome feeling. And to get that response night after night from the audience, it's an aphrodisiac. And
it really is, actually.
If Farnham is having a midlife crisis, yearning for the quiet life, you could have fooled me. At 53, he's never been in better voice, and his fans can't get enough of him.
But I've been given the opportunity to walk away from it at the best of times, at the top of my profession, you know. I want to walk away with a reputation intact rather than play to, you know, the crickets and the cleaners.
He's outsold all other Australian artists in this country and played live to millions of us. For many, he's the Peter Pan of pop. The locks may be thinning, but to these fans, he's still their golden boy.
Can you see the ball back when I do this? Bastards!
Oh, right in front of the telly as well.
I love you, Joe! I love you too.
You know, you go to all these other concerts and, yeah, they get out there, they do their bit and then they leave. I mean, you've seen it in there. He's letting people come up and touch him, shake his hands, kissing them, giving him flowers.
And bras, would you give
No.
You drew the line.
I drew the line and I gave my mother the big story before we came. No bras, no underwear.
What is it about him that makes you go back and back and back?
My wife.
Come on, do you like him?
Hey, he's absolutely fabulous.
Is it his jokes, his sex appeal?
Oh, I'd just like to take him home. Well, this is a man who has a bond, not so much with his audience, but with a nation.
How are you, mate?
No one is better able to explain the Farnham phenomenon than rock historian Glenn A. Baker.
The bond is extraordinary, and I think it comes down to the fact that it's the oft-used phrase with Farnham: what you see is what you get. There's a certain reliability. People go to a Farnham show knowing that he's going to be bloody funny, that the band is going to be crack hot. He is going to be in great voice.
Unfashionable, but a favourite son at the same time. Is that a fair assessment?
That is, and in fact that is what worked for him, because when you are unfashionable, you never go out of fashion.
I'll get people and they'll be down there and they'll want to kiss from here. And physically,
You cannot do it.
it fascinates me.
And then they hold on to your hand and
Yeah, and then try to pull me in, which is, that's a bit disconcerting, I must admit.
Have they ever actually succeeded?
In the old days they used to get, no, they can't get me in there. Are you kidding? I'm rooted to the spot.
How do you reconcile that fact that you have women throwing bras and underpants? They want to shake your hand, they want to soak the sweat off your face.
Peter, it's not something I analyse really and truly. I read a piece in a newspaper in Perth, and it fascinated me. It was a little dig. It was one of those digs, and it said, the bulk of the audience at the John Farnham concert were mainly middle-aged women. And I turned around and I said, of course they're bloody middle-aged women. I'm a middle-aged man. If I was 17, they'd be younger.
And that's about how old he was when this little number came out. Sadie turned Farnham from plumber to pop star overnight.
That's it. I'm going to say, Sadie, roll in. And it's going to drive you nuts, because it's going to be the last thing you hear. It's drive you bloody crazy. And you'll be driving home and I go, oh, Sadie, bloody fun. Sadie, the queen in lane. Her aching knees not getting any younger.
The crowd demands it, and after 35 years, Farnham still delivers. But on this tour, there's a twist, a touch of history he shares with backup singer Danielle Gahan.
There were two women? No, girls. They were girls standing behind me, and one of them was Danny's mum, who was 4.5 months pregnant with Danielle
me.
at the time.
With you?
She left bandstand at 5 months to have me. Wasn't that nice of her?
And now the tradition continues.
Yeah, here we are.
Danielle's the latest addition to a band which has been playing together for nearly 20 years. The camaraderie is as obvious as the mutual respect.
On stage was one of the greatest singers ever. There's a timbre and quality in his voice which is, unsurpassed. I mean, it's like Don Bradman. The man's been around, has become an Australian icon. That's all I can call him.
He's a singer, and my favourite singer is Stevie Wonder, which is also his favourite singer, and he's up there with Stevie Wonder to me. So I'm working with someone who's incredible every night. So that's, and consistently incredible.
You're going to have one too, aren't you?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'd really like you to join in. Okay, you ready? Kick my tiny little ass.
Oh.
It's tiny today, isn't it? Down, ouch. Good luck, mate. None of that sipping straight.
How do you sing after that?
Oh, you call that singing?
You're the Voice is, of course, the song that resurrected Farnham's career in 1986. Glenn Wheatley mortgaged his house to bankroll the album Whispering Jack, which went on to sell 1.7 million copies, an all-time Australian record. Perhaps one of the reasons Farnham is so popular is that he's known the flip side of fame. In the mid-80s, he was washed up, depressed, so broke he could barely afford to feed his family.
I'll never forget this. We were sitting around with a dragon, who I call my mother-in-law. And we were sitting there watching TV, and she said, why don't we take Robert out, because McDonald's, the whole thing. Why don't we take Robert to McDonald's for dinner? And we couldn't. I just turned around, got behind her back and said to Jill, we can't afford to. We couldn't even go to McDonald's,
It was the lowest of the lows, wasn't it?
That's true.
How low?
Well, it's the lowest I've ever been, as low as it can get for me. It was a very uncomfortable time for me. I ended up on the lounge room floor in the fetal position, just not wanting to do or go or be or see anything. And Jill, my wife, Jillie's a very strong personality and a great bird, and she actually lifted me up and pulled me out of it. She was amazing.
I find that really hard to believe, talking to you today, that's how you were.
Oh yeah.
Agoraphobia.
Oh, complete dribbling mess on the ground, seriously.
Just 15 months after Whispering Jack's release, Farnham was named Australian of the Year. The man with the mullet was back on top and has stayed there ever since.
This is where I do all my cooking.
Yes, of course. These days, even on the road, he has all the trappings of success. But deep down, he's still just another knockabout muso.
Are you more than a singer?
No, just a singer.
You're not a showman?
I'm a show off. Please let me do the joke, son. Are you bloody close enough? Hit him. It's all right for you. This goes to millions of people. They're going to see the pimples and everything. Hang on, I'll fix it.
Somewhere in Australia tonight, John Farnham is belting out songs from a career that's lasted nearly 4 decades. You don't have to like his music, but in this era of instant celebrity, you've got to hand it to him. He's one of a kind. Nice guys do finish first, John. That's a statement, not a question, but they do, and I get that feeling. I think everyone gets that feeling.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Charles Woolley. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.